Sorry about the weather yesterday. We hope it comes good today, and I'm sorry about the performance of the Cowboys.
How would you go running it straight at Chris Mims? How would you
Can
go?
we tee that up?
Yeah.
I'm in if he's in.
Okay. Come on, mate.
Lindsay,
Come, Lindsay. Freddie's man. Look at him.
Yeah.
please.
Freddie's going to tee it up.
Please.
He's tackling techniques.
Half-time of Origin 1, you think?
Yeah.
Let's tee it up.
That'd be
Origin
cool,
1, New South Wales v Queensland for the Premiers. Got to love it.
Well, there you go. We are very close to teeing it up because I'm pleased to say the New South Wales Premier, Chris Mims, joins us here on the couch. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us as well. Have you heard anything from the Queensland Premier?
He didn't mention that. No, he was a bit quiet on the run it straight challenge. But we're not close at all to that happening. There's no way I'm going to do that. But he's good value. He's good fun.
He's a good fella. He's seen a real knock about.
Yeah, he's good fun. And we text a lot about natural disasters or things that need to happen on the border, and he's very helpful. He sent a ton of SES volunteers from Queensland down to the mid-north coast during the recent floods, which was, genuinely, we needed it. It was fantastic.
Is that always the way? Premiers always working together?
I think in the past there's been bluing between different premiers. Sometimes in the same party. He's in the other party from me, but mostly across Australia, people will put down, their spears if there's something that needs to be done, which is what I think everyone would expect anyway, right?
You think so?
Do you have a bet going for Game 2 or the Origin series as a whole with him?
Yeah, we were searching around for one, and eventually we came across the idea. We only struck the deal after Origin 1 was completed, actually. So the loser of Origin has to strike or has to record a tourism ad for the winner's state.
That's good.
So he'll have to put on budgie smugglers and head down to Bondi and...
We'll get him up at Cessnock.
Get him up to Cessnock.
Advertising the Hunter Valley.
Absolutely.
I'd love him in
do a vineyard
Cessnock.
tour of the Hunter Valley. That'd be perfect.
Mate, why politics? It looks like such a brutal sport, politics. Why? And then what's the process? There's councils, state politics, federal. How have you come about being the Premier?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long road. I always liked it. I was interested in it when I was a kid. My old man was not so much interested in politics, but a big Labor guy. And really, he sort of talked about it a lot. My brother and my sister got into it that way. I was the only one that joined. And he joined the party very briefly, but went to a branch meeting and thought it was just a racket and thought, I'm not getting involved. But I kept at it, and ever since I've been 17, I've been a member. And
right.
I've largely enjoyed it. I mean, it can be stressful and difficult at times, but most of the time it's good fun.
And you're a Dogs fan?
Massive Dogs fan.
You must be pumped. How they're going.
They're playing so well. I was just saying to Dunica that I don't really want to put the mocker on them. It's just such a great season. And I was surprised that they made such a big move on Lockie Galvin. But seemingly on the basis of Monday's game, it was the right call. And I reckon, we were talking about it in the office. There's heaps of Bulldogs fans in the office, Sarah and James, and everybody's a mad Dogs fan. And we were talking about the move and how he was going to move into the halves potentially, and what a big call it was given the team was coming first. And the fact that it went off without a hitch, I reckon a lot of the credit should go to Sexton, actually, because there's no social media posts, there's no leaking to the media. It's just straight, he just gets on with it. So they seem to have a good culture, and culture is probably what wins premierships.
Well, you would have been involved with some good operators. Phil Gould, the way he's turned that club around, what he did at Penrith, now at the Bulldogs. Yeah. Must be a great operator. You must admire what he's done. Yeah, he's seemingly ruthless, but that's what you need to win a competition. Yeah. And as a Bulldogs fan, it's fantastic to see. Also the Warriors as well. He was involved over there as well. So he's obviously knows what he's doing. But look, I think they've got what it takes. But they're obviously a young team, and they seem to have that grit. Their back row is incredible.
Well, the whole team's like that. I made mention after the game, and it's like every Bulldogs game, to go to pick a man of the match, you're like, don't really know. Yeah. They all seem to chip in so well.
Work so hard for each other.
Yeah, they do.
It's such a team effort there. I want to know for you in your current job at the moment, it does seem like such a high pressure position. What does a day in the life of the New South Wales Premier entail?
Well, it's sort of different every day. You spend a lot of time in the car. I get up really early. I think Sydney's an early morning town. Like if you go down to the beach, or Cronulla or Bondi, it's full of people, Centennial Park. Everybody's doing exercise. So I get up early. And
you train early?
Yeah, I do. I do a bit of training. I do a little bit of something every day. So it might be just 20 minutes or 40 minutes, but that's enough. It's more for my mental health, I think, than my physical health. And then you're into the day. Sometimes I've got things on at night, but usually you're just in the car. One of the good things about politics and one of the reasons I'm involved in it is that no 2 days are the same. So if you like variety, it's a good job because it might be a disaster, but it's something different. Monday can be different to Tuesday. And often if you've had a bad Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, your luck can turn around by the weekend. The reverse is true as well, but, you know, what do you do?
We seem to have no luck with Rose Hill. Now, that was something everyone was listening to and everyone was watching. I think everyone who knows the area could see the benefit. I couldn't really understand the other side of it, but what was it like? Obviously working with Peter, and then the other side is not getting the result.
Peter V'landys.
Peter V'landys.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point in lying about it. I was disappointed. And I think probably the temptation is to say, oh, no big deal. I would have loved it. I reckon it would have been great for Sydney. I'm disappointed it didn't go through. But our housing crisis is so great. We've got reports into the government that show we lose twice as many young people as we gain every year in Sydney. And this week, Sydney was named the most expensive city on earth. So we've got all these commissions and reports that come back and say, if you don't have young people, then you don't have a future. And so rather than sort of crawling up in a ball, I think we need to take more chances, more opportunities for housing, more apartments, more units so that people can live near their mum and dad, live near their grandparents. Because at the moment, a lot of people I grew up with and the generation below me are saying, I'm packing it in. I'm going to Brisbane or I'm heading out west or going to Melbourne, and that's at a big loss for us.
I've got a solution for you.
Here we go.
Here we go. We've been waiting for this one.
So you sell off the rest of
There's a sensor button.
Sell off the rest of Shark Park, which isn't too much, but the big one is you sell that whole block at Cogra Oval, and then you build a boutique stadium at Brighton Le Sands or maybe down at Waterfall or in the Shire somewhere.
Yeah. Right. Well,
me and Freddy can sort it.
So you'd have apartment blocks where Cogra and where
it's
Shark
a huge
Park
block, the whole block
Yeah.
there, and then you sell off the rest of Shark Park. Then you have a little boutique stadium, which is sort of towards Wollongong, Waterfall there, you know, the national park, and then people from the Shire don't have to travel too far. You know what it's like from the Shire?
Yeah.
They close the gates.
They don't like travelling.
Yeah.
But if it's there, we've got the train line there at Waterfall.
Yep. Oh, that's true.
What do you reckon?
I like it.
Thank you.
I like Brighton. I think Brighton. Imagine a stadium at Brighton. That would be feral.
out on the water.
So that's
Make it
Belmore. Oh, you sell Belmore too.
Yeah, we're selling a lot of land. It sounds
Well,
like
there's a
Joey
development
there.
going on at Belmore, so that whole eastern side.
They do. The Dogs do play a
the
couple
hill.
of games there every year,
Yes.
don't they? Yeah.
One.
And
They
they
played the first
They
one.
train out of there, don't they?
Yeah,
They
they
do.
need to have a base to train
And the
out of.
NRLW, and they also have they pretty much have every grade covered. So they've got a couple of grounds out the back. I was out there the other day actually with the NRLW team.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a really good job.
Well, we would look at it. The big problem with the plan is the Dragons fans and the Sharks fans don't tend to want to share a stadium. You
You're
know?
the boss, mate.
You're the boss.
Well, I don't get for either of them.
Apparently the Roosters and Souths don't like sharing the stadium.
Yeah, but Souths are up for it, so.
What's the go there? Like, what'll happen there, do you think, between the Roosters and
As
Souths?
in the Souths going back to Moore
Yeah.
Park. Look, it's a tough one for us because obviously there's a contract in place out at Homebush, but we're talking to all parties, and look, these are difficult things to manage. The good news is everybody's been sort of putting the boot into a call for a long time. 60,000 people on Monday, the biggest crowds we've seen in the NRL for suburban week-by-week games in years, and that wouldn't happen if we didn't have a giant stadium out there. So I think we can get the balance right, but I don't know. We haven't got a solution at the moment.
Like, we're both out there. I saw you down a couple of boxes. I was spying on you.
He actually took a photo of you and sent it to us.
A little bit of paparazzi. Normally the paparazzi is around these two, but it was around you the other day. A roof on a stadium.
Yep.
Will that ever happen in Sydney?
It could. I mean, again, super expensive. My issue at the moment is we've got to get our finances under control.
How long does that take? Like, you say you've got to get your finances under control. So do you hear that across the world at the moment?
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take to actually turn your finances around?
We work in 4-year cycles, so we do the budget for this year, and then we effectively do the budget for the next 4 years as well. So generally speaking, you have in your mind's eye, I hope this problem will be solved over a 3 or 4 year cycle, not generally beyond that. But my problem, Freddie, is I can't jack taxes up on anybody anymore. You know, people are paying more than they've ever paid for rent, for mortgages, for going to the supermarket.
Tolls.
And I cannot jack up anyone's taxes even a cent, because understandably, when you live in the most expensive city on earth, there's no room to move. Everybody's back pocket is completely bare.
What about junior sport? How to keep more kids playing sports? Generally around that age of 14, 15, where it sort of drops off. How do we keep more kids in sport? But also on the women's side of things, the women's rugby league has gone through the roof. So how do we keep more kids playing sport, but also encourage young girls to continue to play sport? Yeah,
we've worked with Peter, the NRL, Peter Volandis and the NRL about state government support for the women's competition, which is just massive and growing every single year. Also, the competition's just so healthy at the moment. I think this is probably the key as a parent. I reckon this is the key issue because it's so difficult to get kids off electronic devices. They're designed to keep you hooked. And I find it difficult to rip myself away from a mobile phone or an iPad. And obviously I'm an adult. I don't know why we would expect a kid to have the self-control and the discipline to put down an addictive
why can't we make
addictive
laws?
technology.
Like there are stuff now at schools.
China do it, don't they?
You're only allowed to play
I
one day a
reckon the
week.
best thing we did since we got elected was to ban mobile phones in schools. In public schools in New South Wales, and if you speak to principals, they'll say, yeah, look, it's been pretty good in the classroom, a bit more interaction with the teacher, but the big benefit has been at recess and lunchtime.
Yeah.
Previously, you'd look at a schoolyard, everyone would be not talking with one another, but almost texting each other, even if they were 6 feet from each other. And now you've got to talk, they're playing sport, basketball is huge, football and soccer is picking up, and I reckon it's as a result of that change.
Yeah.
South Australia did it first, we did it second, the private schools followed us, and now every other state's pretty much in the cart for it.
Would you ever go harder? Because I know that, especially with kids, they're always going to try and find a loophole. I know, kids text each other from watches and everything now. There's always some new technology, from smart watches. They can call each other. Yeah, what do you mean? You can call people from your watch and text people from your watch and...
Smart.
So there's nowhere you can hide these days.
There's nowhere that you can hide.
You can leave your mobile phone at home, but you
You've got to
still
wear the glasses. You can wear the glasses, have cameras on.
Yeah, the Ray-Bans, yeah.
Wow. What about Origin? You going over to Perth?
No, I'm not going.
How do you think we'll go?
I mean, I think we'll win, but, the Queenslanders seem to rally off the back of feeling umbrage at New South Wales slights, so I'm a bit worried about that. But they just seem to have them all over the park, and I mean they're in rare form. The New South Wales team seem like they've got a lot of depth as well, and I really want them to do well. I think that I think that they could go the whole way and have a sweep. But probably more important than that, the team that's going through looks like they could dominate for years, and I guess that's the best thing from New South Wales' perspective.
Yeah, good signs for New South Wales. Before we let you go, if the Dogs win the grand final, how would you celebrate?
You'd be in
Belmore. Well, I don't drink.
You're doing burnouts in Belmore.
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably... My middle boy, Nicholas, is a nut for the Bulldogs. He absolutely loves them. So, yeah, I'll probably celebrate with him.
All right.
If you don't drink, how's that go down to the Labor Party with Bob Hawke's antics?
Well, he didn't. He gave it up too.
I had a few sessions with Bob.
Did you? Yeah,
I couldn't keep up with his sale.
Yeah.
He's A-grade.
He's going all right.
You couldn't keep up with him.
Well, that's a lie.